Hello and welcome back to the Cafe Smash podcast. I'm your co-host Django, joined by my co-host AirPods.
What's
and
going on?
We just like to take a second to say that the giveaway is still going on. We're going to be announcing the winners at Saturday 11:59 p.m. on the dot. So make sure you get in there. Tag as many people as you can. Give us 5 stars as usual, and make sure you get into that giveaway.
Yep. Just make sure to just keep sharing the podcast with everyone that'll be interested in it, and of course leave a 5-star review as Django said. But
first of all, I'd like to go into the suggestion for today's episode, which comes from Dylan G. Cantania. I definitely butchered that name. I'm really sorry, but big shout out to you. Gave us a suggestion for today's episode. Today we're going to be talking about the kind of evolution in characters that have come from 64 all the way to Ultimate, the kind of stages they've taken to change in each game. And it's a really interesting topic that I didn't think we were going to cover until I heard about it. And I'm like, wow, yeah, there is a lot of variation in the way these characters have been developed. And it's pretty cool to kind of go back and talk about it and see their roots.
yeah, with Mario 3D actually coming out, I've been kind of on that N64 grind lately with Super Mario 64, going back and replaying that. So I feel like this is the perfect time to go back and talk about N64 games, and specifically Smash 64. So how do you feel about Smash 64 coming from an Ultimate player that we're so used to this garbage Wi-Fi recently? But how does it feel to you?
Well, like you said, in terms of games that I've been playing, right? I think a little while ago, you and I tried to boot up 64, and we were like, hey, let's make this work. Let's go back to our roots, play a little bit of 64, in the CRT. And it was horrid. It was not a fun experience because we are not by any means good at 64. We know some things about 64. We watch a lot of 64, but lordy, are we terrible at 64. So I think that it is horribly unbalanced, and it is the first stepping stone into what is the greatest franchise in the world for me. And honestly, I think you got to start somewhere, and that's honestly a pretty strong start for a random Nintendo fighter out of nowhere.
Yeah, it wasn't even actually intended to be a collaboration of all of these different Nintendo characters. Initially, it was just these just generic fighters, and then Sakurai pitched it to Nintendo by putting Captain Falcon fighting Mario, fighting Donkey Kong, fighting Link, all on a platform fighter as a kind of little development thing and a pitch, and Nintendo bit and kind of just, now we have what we have for Smash Ultimate. So I think it's really important to go back and talk about Smash 64 specifically, because this is where Smash came from, and this is where our favorite game has came from, and we got to go back and talk about its roots, because it wasn't necessarily pretty, but everyone got to start somewhere,
Exactly. And there may be some characters that are a little bit better than others. There's a bit of a gap between, Pikachu and Luigi or something like that, but it still competitively has a scene. It's still played widely, and it's still a good game if you want to play too much hit stun the game, So speaking of too much hit stun the game, which character do you main again in this game?
Well, I kind of just main random, but if I were to choose, it'd be Pikachu, obviously, because Pikachu or Kirby. First off, they're both high tiers. Second off, they're both really easy to use, recovery-wise, because Smash 64 definitely got some jank going just with all of it. So these characters are just kind of safe to play as kind of a newbie to the game. Obviously, I have more experience with other Smash games, but Smash 64 is kind of its own beast with the just different feel of it comparing to the other Smash games, which feel way, way, way more polished. What about you?
Okay. So I play Falcon because just funny throw out hitboxes, and sometimes it'll combo and it doesn't really matter. I think Falcon is the most fun character in that game, simply because there's no weird tech you need to do and no good hit stun combos. It's basically just up air, up air, up air, up air. And that's the best version of Falcon, where it's just brain dead and you get rewarded for playing with no brain whatsoever.
Up air, up air, up air, up air. Reminds me of a few characters in Ultimate. CSS.
Interesting.
Mario.
Interesting.
Huh. I don't know what
Very
that was, but speaking on Mario, wasn't necessarily the best character in Smash 64. Not like how he is in Ultimate now, where he's kind of seeing some very high levels of play and results also. But Mario definitely resides in low mid tier, kind of on that cusp between low and mid tier. But he just doesn't have anything really going for him. He got weird combos. He just doesn't feel good to play. He just feels like sluggish and clunky. And yeah, his moves are also different from his current moves, which I think Django will get into. But overall, Mario just feels extremely just kind of out of place almost, because Mario's always been like represented as this really fast running and jumping character, in the original Mario Bros. He's speeding through the courses, and now he just feels kind of sluggish and slow. So I don't really like Mario, and his slow nature and weird hitboxes and hurtboxes just lend him more towards low and mid tier when there's these dominating forces in the game like Pikachu and Kirby that we'll get to later.
I think he was implemented the most Mario way they could at the time, because they didn't really have a ton of source materials. Mario 64 obviously gave them a lot to work with, kind of lending towards a ton of his moves. But like Mario Tornado, I don't know where that came from. He has Fireball, obviously. They could have gotten like Ground Pound or something, that would have made much more sense or been in character. But they kind of just made like, here is a base move set, and what if we slap it on the all-around character everyone knows and love, Mario? And he kind of ended up being this up air the character, much like he has been for a long time, where his only combo strings kind of come out from up air, and there's no, because in this game, there's no side B and there's no down throw, right? So in a lot of the games, he benefits from having down throw, up B, down throw, up tills into up B, and he doesn't really have those kinds of combos in this game. So it's really awkward to set up a combo for him, and kill setups are not as easy either. As opposed to where he is now, it's something that is weird to go back and see him as not being a dominating combo-centric force.
Yeah, I want to go back to what you say about the source material like lacking. I think actually that's kind of the opposite for Mario, because really, obviously he doesn't have a side B, but his side B, which would be later implemented in later games in Smash, was based on Super Mario World with the cape. Cape was implemented into Super Mario World, I believe, not Super Mario 3. That was the Tanuki Leaf, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I might have them backwards, but I'm pretty sure it was the Tanuki Leaf in Mario 3, and then the cape in Super Mario World, which came out on the Super Nintendo, which would be before Smash 64. So really the only thing he had different that he currently has would be Flood, which obviously wasn't implemented until Sunshine, which is on the GameCube. So I can see why that's not a thing, but they really did have a lot to work with, in my opinion, because Mario really has stayed the same. He obviously Flood's a new mechanic that he's gotten, and Cappy we haven't seen fully explored yet, because I think they want to keep Mario more of this cookie cutter character, kind of just keeping him fairly easy to pick up and play. But I don't know if saying lacking the source material necessarily is true. Obviously he's just this brawler type of character, so his moves can be fairly generic, but I feel like his moves really represent him in his games, in my opinion.
I think they did a good job. That's like what I said before. With what they were given in terms of implementing this plumber that steps on weird mushroom-shaped people for coins, they did a decent job transitioning him into a fighting game character, where he fights against people like the freaking Hero of Time, who has a sword that should, theoretically, in real life, slice through Mario and just kill him. So I think they did a pretty decent job, as opposed to someone like Link that ended up becoming a really, really bad character in this game. Poor Link. He he did not get good treatment. His up B, hero spin, okay, he has a lot of stuff from source material. Implementation was good, but overall, he is the second worst character in the whole game, universally agreed upon. and he is he is lacking in everything that makes a good character in this game.
Yeah, in Smash 64, he really didn't get a good treatment. Obviously, now with side B being a thing, he really does benefit off having an extra projectile in Boomerang. Also, down throw does set up a lot of combos in future games, like we would see. And really taking away these, I'm saying taking away, but these tools just not being in the game really hinders Link a lot. And he again feels like Mario, just super clunky and kind of almost like unpolished in a way. His up B not barely going to ledge, and with a meta so prevalent on these characters with multiple jumps that can go out and gimp recoveries, Link just kind of gets dominated on. But we do see him in modern day Smash really getting explored a lot with some really crazy things that I don't think anyone back in the 1990s playing Smash 64 really thought Link was capable of when they were playing this garbage character.
Mm-hmm. I don't think anyone thought he was going to become the... Well, he is the zoner. Not the zoner, but he is a zoner. He just does not work in this game.
The zoner, we have Snake in the game, and Mega Man, and Pac-Man.
No, I'm talking about 64. In terms of Ultimate, he is a more diverse kind of zoner brawler character because he has big hitboxes that can just trump.
Yeah, he's like that swordy slash kind of zoner combo, but like his sword attacks still feel like are ranged, you know, because like his sword's pretty long. Like you can kind of space them, so you're still kind of zoning your opponent almost, which I think is pretty cool for a concept of a sword character. I think they did a really good job in Ultimate, but definitely didn't execute what they wanted in Smash 64 with Link's little nubby sword.
In terms of source material, I think they did do a good job kind of pulling everything from Ocarina of Time. There is like the Pogo like down. I believe that's from Legend of Zelda 2. That's Zelda 2. Yep. Yeah.
On the NES.
Okay. See, exactly.
It's one of the most garbage Zelda games, but it is.
Don't play it.
It is where Down Air came from.
So they did pull a lot of source material, and I think they did do a good job with him, kind of using him as a projectile character, giving him his bow, his bombs, which is like his signature tools, and he looks like good. He looks like the Ocarina of Time model.
Yeah,
and a lot of people appreciate
right
that.
From Ocarina.
Exactly. They did a really good job with that, but they kind of made a really lackluster character, and they've sort of been refining him to become his own more different-esque character as the games have gone on. Melee was pretty much the exact same thing, except he was given a side B and Boomerang, like you had said, which he definitely benefits off of because having an extra projectile means more zoning. It means you can have more things out on stage to get them. So, and then like in Brawl, it was the exact same thing except they gave him that like tornado boomerang from Twilight Princess, which I thought was cool. They keep changing it up. Then Smash 4 was the exact same thing, and then you reach Ultimate, where he's different. He gets Remote Bomb, he gets traditional Boomerang, he has like arrow mechanic where he can pick it up and shoot 2 arrows at the same time. It's cool to see that they're actually taking the time to evolve this character, instead of just keeping him super true to his source material, kind of like other characters like Donkey Kong and stuff that just have really similar moves, but there is less that you can pull from source material there. Like Donkey Kong only has his coconut gun, which can fire in spurts, and like moving moves in the air, all of his aerials. Like there's not too much you can use, maybe like barrel or something like that, but it's harder to implement characters like Donkey Kong.
Yeah, Donkey Kong was kind of hard to implement in the way that the source material was. There was a lot of source material. We had the amazing games, Donkey Kong Trilogy on the Super Nintendo. We obviously had the arcade games with all the Donkey Kong arcade games and the NES games, which were basically ports of the arcade. But you're dealing with a huge gorilla. Like you can't just hop in a minecart, really. I mean, Minecraft Steve can, but like in Smash 64, really, how are you gonna display this giant ape without making him dominate? Like he was kind of meant to be King Kong in the Mario world, like just be this huge dominating force. So the fact that he's not like sweeping it, like they can't just make it so he just automatically destroys everyone and just outpowers everyone, you know?
I
So
don't know,
they-
man. It could have been fun to have an only Donkey Kong meta in that game.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing you can really. He's a giant ape, so they did what they could. He still is a giant ape in Smash Ultimate, in my opinion. He kind of just loafs around and just does ape stuff. He really doesn't have anything defining. Aside from his taunts, which give him the most character, in my opinion.
Oh, I
But
love his taunts. They're
his
perfect.
taunts and his idle animations are the things that give him the most character, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, he's just big funny monkey. There's not a ton you could do with him, but it was like good. Like I think the roster of 64 is very, very well balanced. There's a lot of characters that have different archetypes. Even though it was mostly like brawler characters that got in there, they did do a good job getting like a lot of different Nintendo characters and creating a really diverse roster. And I think Donkey Kong was a good inclusion because he's the only like big character in that game. And
Yeah,
he's
that's true.
he's going to suffer from that a lot because this game is all hit stun. So if he takes one hit, he's going to take 15 more. And he's an even bigger hitbox, so let's say for example you hit a Captain Falcon with a Kirby up tilt, right? You're going to be able to string together 4 moves, couple up airs. You hit a Donkey Kong with an up tilt, you're going to be able to string together 7 moves and kill off the most harsh spike in the game, down air. It's much easier to kind of fail with this character like immediately. Just that's it.
I agree.
And his
100%.
up B is his only like move to just kind of break out of that, and it's still, for being his best move, still makes him like the 4th worst character in the game.
Yeah, we still see this in Ultimate today. Donkey Kong's up B is a pretty sad answer as a recovery. He gets no vertical distance. Obviously, he gets a ton of horizontal distance, but if you're not recovering from equal to the stage or above, and you're pretty far out horizontally on the blast zone, good luck getting back because you're either going to get spiked or gimped or you're just not going to make it. So his recovery is still very lackluster, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's only really good offensively, to be honest.
Yeah, there's nothing you can really do. Again, he's a giant ape. What are you gonna do? Like, there's nothing you could do in that situation. I mean, I feel like his funny monkey helicopter is fine for Donkey Kong. You know,
The funny monkey helicopter. I feel like it should be officially named that.
that
There's
should
no
that should
reason
be its
for it to be
official
anything
name.
else.
Some moves have stupid names in this game. Have you ever gone into like the pause menu and looked at the characters' moves?
In 64 or Ultimate?
No, in Ultimate, like there's I forget which character, but shoot, I think it's like Kirby's down tilt has a name or something, and it's just weird. Just go in there one day and just like look at a character's like named moves, because what people call it in the Smash community are not necessarily the same as what Sakurai calls them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they do have a lot of weird names. I believe I watched it was like a P Jiggles video, right? Or a PK Beats or something, where it's like they all have names, and and they were they were just a bunch of things that made absolutely no sense whatsoever, which is perfect.
Yeah,
It's Smash. It's supposed to be silly. You have funny man that eats garlic versus a literal child who drinks milk and it can time travel. It's don't expect to see anything more normal than that. And there's also matchups that make absolutely no sense whatsoever. Like you have this big armored bounty hunter, Samus, destroyer of planets, wipes out entire races, and then you have Luigi, the second plumber to Mario, and they're really gonna go duke it out in front of a big tree. Like, matchups aren't supposed to make sense in this
hey,
game.
my favorite matchup is Bowser Ice Climbers. Let's take this big scary dragon versus 2 small children that climb mountains and let them fight.
Yeah, give the literal king of the Koopas, who has been seen to destroy entire galaxies, versus these 2 kids who are really good
Can
at
pick
climbing.
up a whole planet.
Uh-huh, exactly. But they're just like, oh, but we have little stubby hammers, and, you know, there's 2 of us, so we win. We
Hey,
win
isn't
this
that matchup Ice Climber's favorite anyways?
Probably. There's probably
I
a
don't
few.
know, ask Big D.
Let's get Big D on here.
Yeah. Hot take? Hot take?
Hot take. Anyway,
All
let's
right.
move on to my favorite character, the worst character in the game, Luigi. Like
Sadly, there's got to be a worst.
they did Luigi dirty in this game because Mario is not terrible, right? He's a pretty decent character. His Mario Tornado is a good kill move, especially since his up air is good at comboing. And no Flood means he has worse edge guarding, but it doesn't matter. Luigi got messed with. They just took Mario, reskinned him, made him slower, more floaty, have less combo potential, a broken hitbox, and bam, he is terrible. He is such a bad character in a game where bad characters get destroyed easily.
Yeah, I mean, he was definitely rushed, 100% rushed in this game. We know the development time for this, like Melee, was extremely crammed. There was many characters Sakurai definitely considered including in the game, but couldn't due to time restraints. And Luigi is an unlockable character just to put more content in the game. It's a literal clone of Mario, just made worse, in my opinion. That's really all that there is to say about Luigi. He's just a worse Mario, but he's definitely had a glow up in Ultimate. Really, he's his own character from Mario now, 100%. Got whole different side beam mechanic with this misfire. His up B's funny up B that can kill. That's
I love
my
it.
favorite moves in the game. His grab is now ranged with his poltergeist. He has so many cool things going for him. His fireball is different where it doesn't bounce on the ground like Mario's. He got so many cool things, and they really have evolved this character to differentiate from its original source of just being a clone of Mario to its own character. So Luigi's definitely had a glow up, in my opinion.
Well, you can't really fault them for like making a copy of Mario when he actually is just a copy of Mario.
Yeah, he's the player too.
Exactly. There's not too much different about him. So they did like kind of change him in 64, but in like next games they made him completely different. Like in Melee, for example, his down air was the like kind of drill hitbox that Mario has in Melee as well. But in Melee for Luigi, it's a spike hitbox now, as opposed to being that drill hitbox you could use to down air or something like that. And they start to differentiate him just a little bit in Melee, and like you said, he's a completely different character now. And there's a ton of source material pulled from like Luigi's Mansion and stuff, where he gets an entire new ranged grab because of the Poltergust. And that was like a big breakout game for him. It's signified that now that he has his own game, he can kind of become his own character. In Melee, he's different a little bit or more with Green Missile and Uppy, but in Brawl, he's completely severed from the Mario archetype. Different down air, Mario gets his Flood now. So Mansion coming out really showed the world that Luigi really is his own character, and he's kind of very much grown from his original 64 clone state.
Yeah, now talking about characters that now haven't deviated much from what they had in 64. Captain Falcon, he's very cookie cutter, but very for the people. Captain Falcon is the people's character, 1,000,000%. The most hyped character to watch, to play in Smash 64, or in all of Smash, in my opinion. I know you really focus on playing Captain Falcon whenever you decide to play on Smash 64, which is a rare occasion, but...
Oh, what do you mean? I play 64 all the time. I'm a
Of
professional.
course, of
Catch
course.
me at Grand Finals at SmashCon next year.
Why don't you go over Captain Falcon combos and such, and just what he has to offer?
I like that you
since you're
use
more
combos as plural there, when it really is just combo.
combo, yeah. Fair.
It's
Up air.
up air maybe. And if I'm feeling really zany, right? I'm feeling like I want to switch it up a little bit. I might go for an up air again. I know. I'm kind of insane, a little bit of a mad lad.
Mario in Ultimate. ZSS in Ultimate. Oh God.
I'm telling you, man, these characters. Captain Falcon is so hype in this game, but that's just because he's the hype character. There's not much to rival him being like the hype character. He obviously has the really big move, the People's Champion move, Captain Falcon Punch. Falcon
Punch.
Exactly. He is just going to use that if he really wants to BM you or something like that. But overall, he's a super solid character. He's really fast, which is rare in 64 because there's only like two fast characters that you would really deem fast, period, and him and Fox. So being able to be really fast, he gets a ton of follow-ups off combos, and his aerials are super safe and they last for a really long time and have a ton of hits done. So getting follow-ups with him really isn't the problem, and he's just really good overall. And I'm pretty sure he goes even with Kirby, but I don't think he beats a ton of top tier matchups. He definitely loses to Pikachu. Theoretically, he loses to Fox. It's a whole ordeal with him because he's really good. He's like number 3 in the game. A lot of top players play
number
him.
3.
Exactly.
Sure.
Isaiah plays him. Super Boom Fam plays everyone, but he also plays Falcon. So objectively, very good character. Super linear game plan, and just overall very hype in this game.
I believe you forgot the most hype move Captain Falcon has to offer, which is knee behind Falcon Punch. Obviously, Falcon knee.
I don't believe that you would say knee is more hype than Falcon Punch.
No, Falcon Punch is definitely way more hype, but you forgot another hype move. Falcon knee. I don't believe it's actually called that, but that's what I like to call it.
It's referred to as knee by everyone.
Yeah, it's extremely hype. Also, killing off the side with knee is just so BM, and it's great. And he also has a cool spike. Down air also spikes, so just more BM with Captain Falcon, and who doesn't like a character with a lot of BM? Those are my favorite type of characters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you gotta have BM, because then if you're like completely destroying the opponent, then you can just
you gotta flex on them.
Yeah, you just flex on them so hard. It works every single time, and he's kind of just kept that through every single one of his games. In Melee, he is like arguably his best iteration ever. He is wave dash fast, get everywhere he needs to, stomp, knee, everything. He's got combos on combos. He's fast. He's hype, widely regarded as the most hype character in Smash history. Melee Falcon,
100%.
He keeps all of those things, right? Brawl is the worst version of Captain Falcon ever. The worst fighting game ever. He's fast, but there's no hits done on any of his moves. Nothing combos. You get one hit, and then you just get comboed by someone who either has combos or just get edge guarded really hard because his recovery sucks.
You know why Falcon isn't good in Smash Brawl?
Why is that?
Because his name's not Meta Knight or Ice Climbers.
What do you mean? Pikachu is the best character in the game. Esam said.
Of course.
Too.
If Esam sees a shadow, Pikachu's the best character in the game. I guess if you see a shadow during Brawl era, every other game,
Esam's sleeping real good tonight, knowing Pikachu already wins the Steve matchup.
Yeah, Esam definitely plays the best character in the game.
Yeah,
Pikachu's cracked.
At least he doesn't say like Pikachu's low tier like Mars or something like that, where he's like, "Oh, your shit's so bad. You guys are so weird." The poor dude. Anyway, we're done with Captain Falcon. Oh wait, no, I wanted to talk about a Smash 4 iteration. My bad. Smash 4 Captain Falcon is awesome. He's like everything you wanted him to be that he wasn't in Brawl. He keeps like the same general dimmed down mechanics that Brawl had, but he still has a ton of hype stuff. He hits back air chains. It's really easy to do more setups with Falcon. Down throw knee works in Smash 4. He was a really solid, fluid character in Smash 4. And I think that was another really, really good iteration of him. And I kind of wish that we had seen a little more of that in Ultimate, because it's just taken such a long time for him to grow into like a full-fledged character.
Yeah, Captain Falcon obviously wasn't high tier in Smash 4, but he was one of the few characters that actually felt like how he should feel, in my opinion. The best characters in the game felt disgusting to play. Bayonetta felt gross to play. Cloud felt gross to play. But then you get these like really bad characters like that don't even work. You get Zelda, doesn't work in Smash 4. Bowser Jr. sadly barely works in Smash 4. Pac-Man doesn't work in Smash 4 to the way that they wanted it. And Ultimate's really been kind of making these characters all feel like how they should feel, which I think all these characters from Smash 64 really have develops more into these kind of very fluid characters, and they would feel how you think they would feel like if they were fighting against these other characters. And I think that's exactly what they want for how Smash should feel.
It is kind of funny how a lot of his source material is kind of just made up. Like,
well, yeah, there's nothing you can do when you're a racing game character that only comes out of its card like in the credits.
yeah, it's odd to see. Well, there is like a couple things from the anime that you could get from there,
And
but
the
I don't even think
manga.
the anime, or I know the manga had been out by then, but I don't think the anime adaptation had been made before Smash 4, right?
I
So
don't
it's
know.
kind of weird that they chose to include someone like him and Fox, who are both like, they just don't really get out of their vehicles ever. They kind of just exist to pilot something. They just needed a character to pilot it. So it's weird that they made him this fast, grounded character. Because I get F-Zero super fast paced, but it's weird that they considered him as a character like at all.
Well,
I wasn't
actually,
expecting that.
in the development of Captain Falcon, again, he was one of these rushed characters towards the end of Smash 64's development cycle. He's actually a clone of Link without the projectiles.
Oh.
Same general hurt boxes and hit boxes for some moves. But obviously, he was changed a lot. But you do see resemblance if you're looking for it between Captain Falcon and Link. But he was kind of rushed, and they were just kind of looking for another humanoid character that of a Nintendo game, because Smash was strictly Nintendo characters until Brawl, when Snake and Sonic and I believe
Just Snake and
that's it,
Sonic there.
yeah, got in, and then this became this huge celebration of all things gaming. But it was specifically only Nintendo characters, so Nintendo was looking at their first party games and was like, well, F-Zero was a launch game, or I believe it was a launch game on the Super Nintendo, or close to launch. It sold pretty well. Why not just make this character that some people might know in Smash? It can be unlockable since it's kind of more obscure. But why not just say we have 12 fighters in our game? So here's random humanoid character that drives a really fast car in a Super Nintendo game that would see a game on the GameCube and N64 and nothing else after that.
I mean,
Sadly.
it worked. They created one of the most well-liked characters in all of Smash history.
Yeah, they need to make another F-Zero game badly, because F-Zero is a really, really fun game. I have it on the GBA and the I believe I have it on the SNES. I know I have it on the 64, but I haven't gotten to play that. But the GBA version is really fun.
When you make as much bank as you do off Mario Kart, then is there really reason to make F-Zero again? Mario
I mean,
Kart
it
8 is
diversifies the racing games we currently have. I mean, we have these like Gran Turismo games. We obviously don't necessarily have them all on Nintendo. I'm just talking about in the general scope of kind of racing games we currently have. We have obviously these arcade games like Sonic's All-Stars Racing, Crash Racing, Mario Kart. There's probably other garbage racing games I'm not thinking of, but
hey, Hello Kitty Racers, Garfield Kart.
Hello Kitty Cruisers. I forgot DreamWorks Karts Advance Plus or whatever it's called on the DS,
How could you forget about those?
where you can
godlike
play as
games?
the what's his name, Bob from Monsters vs. Aliens, the big blue blob of like jelly, and you can race against Shrek. I don't know, but
Wow.
we don't have necessarily this fast, unforgiving racing game currently, and I feel like a new F-Zero game would be sick.
I think so. We could get another F-Zero game. I'd play it just because it's F-Zero, and I'd buy it just because it's Nintendo. I always do that.
Of course.
You know what? Like, we're getting a new F-Zero game, never, right? But we're also never getting Metroid Prime 4.
We're getting F-Zero before we're getting Metroid Prime 4. That's been in
Definitely.
development for like since the Wii.
You think it's been in development. You think it has, but it's not. They've been lying to you.
No.
You're-
The number 4, the art of the number 4 has been in development since the Wii.
The art for
Just-
Metroid Prime 4 has been in development.
Just
Yeah.
for them to be able to display that 4 like 7 years ago, and then display it again like 2 years ago, and still no update on it because they reset development on it. But speaking of a game that's never going to come out, Metroid Samus.
Metroid Prime 4 never coming out. Samus, you're gonna be stuck with your latest game, and that's it. I'm really sorry.
Yeah, what was that 3DS? Was the last game?
Yeah, like the reboot of the
I heard that was
The
pretty
original.
good.
Yeah, I heard it was okay.
It was a good like call to the original. Kind of gave that SNES vibe, but this is a Smash-oriented podcast, so we can only talk about sweaty, try-hard Smash things. We can't enjoy other games.
Oh, of course.
Of course. Another zoner along with Link. Really, the only other representation of a zoner, because you get other characters with projectiles in this game, but really, Samus kind of just is the only one that kind of falls into that zoner category with Link. Yeah, she stayed pretty true to her form throughout the Smash games. Obviously, got a tether recovery, which I don't believe was a thing in Smash 64 that got implemented into Melee. Yeah, she's fairly average, slightly under Mario, I believe, on the tier list. Kind of just this average character that plays how you kind of think she would, based on her Smash Ultimate iterations. Obviously, Charge Shot not being as crazy as it is currently, but yeah.
I think Samus overall in that game is solid. It's just kind of hard to warrant picking her over all of the other broken characters, but that is kind of the same for the rest of the cast. She's kind of like the only real zoner. Like, Link is made to be a zoner. Link has all these things that make him a zoner, but like Samus's only good moves are fair and her charge shot and her like bombs. That's it. Right? And she doesn't want to be fighting you at all. Like, Link is okay with scrapping. Like, straight up, he can fight you because he's got the sword right in front of you. But with Samus, it's like you want to be keeping distance. She's the only real zoner game, or at least I think so, because she's built to not fight you, and that's like important that she was made like that because they created the archetype of the zoner. She was the base for characters like Duck Hunt, characters like Mega Man, characters that are supposed to keep you away, that don't have amazing normals but really good specials. So it's important to have someone that's either going to camp you out or just use their one move to get you off of them. And I'm happy that they did something like that with Samus because it created so many characters down the line.
Yeah, Samus also is fairly good. It's a very common trend of these good characters to have good recoveries, and Samus with her having the third highest jump in the game, and a pretty dominating up B, with a lot of just active hitboxes, makes her hard to edge guard if you can get close enough. Obviously, if you're getting hit too far off the stage, it gets very difficult to recover with Samus. Low, recovering high is fine, but recovering low with Samus is hard, especially against characters that can go out on her. But she's overall really solid, in my opinion. Had there not been this epic misbalance of the characters in the game, with some characters just not working at all and some characters just being dominating forces, Samus would be better if the game was properly balanced, in my opinion, because she is implemented very well into this game.
Yeah, no, she's very close to her source material. Like, not having missiles is odd, but that is like just because they added her missiles later on into the game. Like, that's fine. And she has like the charge shot, she has the bomb, she has roll, which is like actually turns into a ball. Things like that are really close to what the game is supposed to be, and they did a super great job implementing her. She is like a really good, and I believe this is the first time we saw like a 3D model of Samus. Like, this was the first time we had seen Samus in a 3D space. I'm almost certain.
We didn't see 3D Samus until
Metroid Prime.
Until Metroid Prime, because I believe the N64 game was. I don't even think N64 game was considered. I was going to say it got scrapped in development. I don't even think it was considered because.
Exactly.
You're making this. The only way to make a 3D Metroid game would have to be kind of the way they did with Metroid Prime, where it's this like open world-esque kind of game,
like
and
a first-person
like an
adventure
FPS or a third-person shooter, and that's hard to do on the N64. We didn't see a lot of those good first-person shooters. Obviously, we saw games like to the caliber of GoldenEye and Doom. But GoldenEye really, along with Doom to a lesser extent, but GoldenEye was really the only first-person shooter on the N64, and that was developed by Rare, who was the dominating developer on the N64 for third-party. Nintendo obviously had great games, but with the late release of GoldenEye, comparing to like kind of just how long it would take to develop a brand new Metroid game from scratch, I just don't think it would have been possible to have a 3D Metroid game on the N64. So this was pretty cool to have the first 3D version of Samus ever in Smash.
Yeah, and they did a super good job with her. She's been like the same in every single game. She's been the zoner. She has her tether recovery. She still has her Zaire. She has, in 64 specifically, she has a lot of like shield break shenanigans with down B, and in Smash 4 she has the dash attack up B, but if you hit the certain hitbox of up B, it'll kill you at 0.
What?
Yeah, it's the same with Peach. There was like if you hit Peach's up B on any character in Smash 4 at a very specific angle, and you like B reversed it, then they would die at 0. Period. They would just kill them right off the top.
That.
Think about it like a Jigglypuff shield break, where it just sends them directly up, right?
Oh, was it like a bug or a glitch or?
It was like an exploit, and I don't think they patched it out ever. It's just in Smash 4.
There's no way I did not hear about this.
Yeah, I'll show you the clips. Don't worry. But she's kept the same, except for like a couple game-breaking bugs, like in Melee, where it isn't really a bug. It's more like a developer artifact left in with the extender, and like her super mega ultra whatever wave dash that like goes her across the stage, and then the other one that takes you across the entire game. Like she's the same in every game. She wants to keep you away. She has really good aerials, and she's the zoner. She did a really good job. They did a super good implementation with her. She's just not an amazing character. She suffers from not being top tier. That's the only like real problem I can see with her. And it's a similar situation with Ness, who is meant to be kind of like a zoner character with these projectiles that he has, but they're not really good. None of the hitboxes are like actually true to what they are supposed to be. And his up B is good for distance, but you can get gimped off of that so easily, especially by the two best characters in the game who have really insane recoveries. So it's kind of like Samus in the same way, where it's a good base moveset, good aerials, just suffers too hard from not being that good.
You know what my favorite part of Smash 64 is? The fact that PK Fire is not in the game.
Yeah? That's what it's the best Smash game?
Yeah, and the fact that Ness is the third worst character in the game. Thank God. Ness deserves to be low tier in every game Ness is in, because I hate Ness.
Wow. Okay. Wow. Huh.
Ness is probably my least favorite character in the game. Period. I severely dislike Ness. Just due to PK Fire, into PK Fire, into PK Fire, into being able to hold a yo-yo out in modern games, just holding a yo-yo there. Just all this stuff just really annoys me, and it just leads me to heavily dislike this character. And Django knows that, so he purposely whips out
You're
Ness on
just
me.
mad. You're just mad because you can't play against Ness.
I consistently beat your Ness now.
No, you do not.
My Joker
No.
absolutely cleans your Ness, and my Bowser Jr. absolutely cleans your Ness.
100% no.
Yes, I go like 95-5 against your Ness with both those characters.
Okay, lie to the people. That's fine. Just lie to the people. Whatever.
Okay. Well,
Yeah,
going back
just keep
to
playing.
that,
Live in your little world.
Ness has nothing. He sucks.
Yeah, Ness is terrible in this game. His aerials are solid. He has good up air. His down air is like a decent spike, but he has nothing. None of his you don't use his specials at all other than up B, and even then you can use up B offensively in other games, but you cannot use it offensively at all in this game. It's just straight up bad. You only use it for recovery, and you don't use any of his other specials. It's just throw out some aerials and maybe you'll do good. Maybe you'll land a few. Who knows? It's not like a special situation where he's anything special. He's just a regular bad character.
That sucked. Well, speaking of characters that sucked, now let's go to the exact polar opposite and go to the high tier. We got Fox.
Just throw it up on Fox because Fox, I think, well, he's fourth best character, right? He's really, really good.
Okay, I can see fourth best character.
A ton of
Captain
stuff.
Falcon could be fourth, but I'll take Fox at fourth.
It's between those two, to be honest. But Fox theoretically has a good matchup against Pika, so that makes him like already a really good character. Think about like in Brawl, for example, a character was only good if they had a good matchup against Meta Knight, right? So it's the same thing in 64, where it's Pika. If you have a good matchup against Pika, then you're a decent character. So Fox, in a vacuum, is really, really good. He has super safe moves, really good aerials, lackluster recovery, but still good nonetheless. Falco lasers, and a decent matchup against Pika. Like, there's nothing stopping this character from being really good.
Yeah, there's actually a group of Fox players. I believe it's like 4 or 5 players that are trying to push this character to its absolute limits. And they thoroughly believe that Fox is the best character in the game. Theoretically, like playing him perfectly, Fox is better than Pikachu. Fox is better than Kirby. Fox is better than every character in this game when played perfectly. But Fox is extremely difficult to play perfectly because he has all this shine shenanigans. He has to space his moves. He has to be extremely precise with his inputs, and playing that on that N64 controller is really, really, really hard to do. But that's why he resides at the fourth best in the game, just due to the sheer difficulty it is to play him. Playing as an AI, yes, Fox is the best character in the game. I will 100% say that. But due to the human aspect of the game and the controller layout, I just don't see Fox necessarily ranking as first in a human tier list. But theoretically, Fox is definitely the best character.
And in every other game, he's been really good. One of, like, overall, the best characters in Smash, up there with, like, Pika, right?
Yeah,
because
he's always had
Fox
a good track
is
record.
really good in 64. Really, really good. And then in in Melee, he's, you know,
Best
Shine,
character in the game.
Haya, Fire, come on, Ata, right? He is
That
Melee.
was great.
He is
That
Shine.
was great.
He is Melee. He is Shine, right? And then in Brawl, like, he wasn't the best character, but it's the same situation in 64, where he's, like, theoretically a really, really good character. And there's also, in that game, a group of people who push this character to their hardest in Brawl. People think he was one of the best characters in that game. You just had to play him at an inhuman level. And then
Yeah,
Smash
like
4,
N64.
Smash 4, arguably top 10 character. Really, really, really solid. Great character. Smash Ultimate, arguably top 15 character. Like, he is
For
so
sure.
consistent in every game, and he always has the same game plan. Go fast, use your Nair a lot, up smash, edge guard, with anything you'd like. He's a really good character, and he's been super consistent in every single game. And that's something that you can kind of attribute to how good of a design they created with Fox in 64.
Yeah, and they really had no source material to go off of. Like Captain Falcon, Fox is this character that's kind of just chilling in his shit most of the time.
He's
Lasers.
not really doing anything.
He did have his laser gun in the games. I don't know if he actually uses it. I'm not too familiar with Star Fox, but I believe most of the stuff just happens with him on his ship. So really this was kind of just designed for Smash. Like, most of these moves are kind of Smash original, and they really implemented Fox well into the game. Like, he feels like he had source material behind him, and a lot of it just is Smash original.
Yeah, they kind of just made stuff, and it just worked. Like, it worked really well. They created a character that is the Rushdown character. He's so sick. Like, what a good character. And then you got another polarizing pick with Puff. Like, why? Why did they add Jigglypuff into this game? I don't
I know
why.
they added Jigglypuff into the game because
Oh, tell me.
because they wanted to advertise they had 12 characters in the game and they had Kirby in the game. So let's make another circular character, and they made Puff.
They just threw him in there. They're like, hey, pink circle. Where have I seen that before? Ah, yeah, of course. That one
Hey, we're getting
character.
Electrode for Smash.
Finally, an Electro that can use Jigglypuff back air. Awesome. Jigglypuff in 64 is really similar to Jigglypuff in Melee. It's just that Jigglypuff in Melee kind of benefits more from the engine, right? You got a lot of wave
And from
landing.
HBox.
Yeah, exactly. From HBox, period. You got wave dashing is really good with him, gives him some great momentum. But they're kind of like the same character in Melee, where it's like up air is really good and rest will kill you at 10 if you're on the side, because it just kills you right off the side and it's really, really good. So you kind of have the same game plan. Sing kind of sucks, but as they've developed, Jigglypuff has become a really solid character in that they just use their aerials to just get easy kills, easy edge guards, good recovery, and it's pretty much Kirby clone, period.
Yeah, she stayed the same throughout all the Smash games. Really, she had her kind of mid-tier high tier era in Smash 64, and then became one of the best characters in Smash Melee, and then it's just been downhill for there from Puff. But she plays fine in Ultimate. I think she plays pretty good. Yeah, she feels good. But now going to a character that eats crayons. If you main Yoshi, you eat crayons, and don't main Yoshi, please.
Main Yoshi, do it. He has insane combos. He has really, really good shield break. He hits like a freaking truck. That guy
He hits like an
slams you.
absolute truck for no reason.
He slams you with all of his moves, and they do way too much damage. His recovery is kind of doo-doo. His recovery is kind of doo-doo in 64 specifically because he doesn't have as much double jump armor, and his up B goes literally nowhere. But he is so good in every game. He's super solid in Ultimate. He was good in Brawl. Obviously, Amsa pushes his character to the max in Melee. So overall, play Yoshi. Even if you eat crayons, he's fun. He's rewarding. It's worth it. I promise you.
If you main Yoshi in Ultimate, you eat crayons. But Yoshi,
Probably, but he's fun.
Yoshi is fun. I enjoy playing Yoshi, but if you main Yoshi, you eat crayons.
Maybe.
Yeah, Yoshi's pretty cool though.
Not calling out anyone in specific.
Lucas. But Yoshi has a lot of pent up anger from Mario ditching him into the void so many times and punching Yoshi in the head that he just takes it all out in the Smash battlefield.
Yeah. Poor dude. Yoshi gets to beat up Mario finally. The role reversal we've been looking for.
Of course.
Let's move on here to the second best character, and then we'll finish up on the last character.
Save
got
the best
Kirby.
for last.
Your quote unquote main. Just give me the spiel, the quick spiel about Kirby here.
Well, Kirby has probably the most impressive spike in the game, down air.
100%. Giant hitbox.
Kirby is one of the only characters that has a winning matchup on Pikachu. It's kind of this like triangle. Pikachu beats Captain Falcon beats Kirby beats Pika. So it's kind of this triangle that goes on. But Kirby is really, really, really good in this game. Just his frame data is crazy. Up tilt combos are crazy because all the freaking hits done on that. Obviously, like I said earlier, if you have a good recovery, you're a good character in this game. Kirby has a bunch of jumps and an up B that has a hitbox that sends pretty high vertically. So I mean, what's there more to ask for? You got good frame data, good recovery. That's just brewing. That's just the recipe for a good character in this game. And we saw Kirby kind of just stay the same throughout all the games. Obviously, getting new copy abilities, getting new animations for his down B, and getting the hammer with his side B. But Kirby's kind of stayed the same, and I am not necessarily complaining about that. Kirby's that character that everyone plays.
He's just gotten worse overall.
He's
in
gotten
every
worse,
game,
but he's
he gets
the beginner
worse and
character
worse.
for sure.
he's not good in any game except for 64. So poor Kirby got absolutely butchered because he was given the special treatment by Sakurai.
Yeah, Melee Kirby is sad. Good luck back throwing by ledge.
Good luck doing anything with that character. Poor Kirby.
Kirby's really cool though.
Yeah, he's not as cool as Pikachu though. Pikachu has some insane moves in 64. And not only that, he's got some insane moves in every single
moves?
game.
You mean a full move set of cracked moves?
That's what I said, dude. He is the most consistently good character over every Smash game, period.
Over Fox?
64. So yes, 64, absolutely insane. Most broken character by far, definitely uncontested. Thunder works differently. It kills super early. He has a different back air, which is just really good for throwing you right off the ledge. He has an insane recovery for that game. Way, way too good for the game that it is put in. And overall, the best character, Thunder Jolt, insane projectile, right? And you move on to Melee. Not as good. Probably his worst iteration, right? But he's still really insane in that you've seen Axe win Smash Summit 8. Consistently rank top 10. The most insane Evo moment ever, other than the Street Fighter moment, obviously, where he 4-stocks Silent Wolf on Fountain of Dreams, and everyone starts screaming. So it's perfect for him to kind of have that underdog story in Melee, and then in Brawl, theoretically, really, really good character. Esam, top 10 in the world with this character.
Saw a shadow. He just didn't
of course.
Melee.
he just wasn't there for Melee.
Every other game he saw a shadow, but
poor guy played Samus in Melee. He wasn't ready to pick up Pika in that game.
Yeah.
But in Brawl, he has made it very clear that Pikachu was a really good character, potential top 5. He had like up B lock in Brawl, which was kind of insane. His moveset has been like pretty much the same. Smash 4, also really, really solid character. I believe he beat Bayo. It was a positive matchup for Pikachu.
Yeah, it was a positive matchup for Pika.
And Esam was really good against Bayo. And now we move to Ultimate, the second most broken iteration of Pikachu. He's got
broken.
We already mentioned this in our high tier episode. He has everything you need in a character and more. He's really, really good. So this character is so consistent. So consistent.
On that note, I think it's about time for us to wrap up. We're coming to about an hour here. I want to say one last thing before we sign off. Smash Ultimate is better than Melee, definitively.
Okay. All right.
That's been the Cafe Smash podcast. Of course, make sure to check out our Instagram at Cafe Smash Podcast. Link in our bio to all our other things, such as our Twitter, our Discord server, which is popping now. We almost have 100 members, I think, somewhere around there. Of course, leave a 5-star review if you did enjoy. Share with a friend, and of course, enter that giveaway. We still got about 2 days from when this episode goes live for that giveaway. So, anything else you'd like to say, Django, before we sign off?
No, man. I'm just saying, Pikachu, most consistent character. Best character in Ultimate, and goddamn do I love Ultimate, and they have done such a good job making all these original characters, these baseline characters, into something that's just become one of the best fighting games ever, period.
Yeah, they've all had a glow up, in my opinion.
100%.
Anywho, I've been your host, AirPods, along with my co-host,
Django. What's up?
That's about it for the Cafe Smash podcast. Peace.